Hi again. So today I thought I'd share with you something that is going to be extremely challenging for most people, but for me hasn't been too challenging because I've cultivated this as a skill over a lifetime. If you can call it a skill, I'm not sure if you'd call it a skill or a personality trait. So to start off, we've got to go way back when I was a little wee boy, and even as a kid, as a really young kid, like 5-6 year old, I remember I used to really enjoy saving money. I remember my parents got me a badge that said trainee millionaire, and it was a picture on the badge of piles of cash. I always remember that. And then when I was old enough, I got a newspaper delivery round where you'd go around on your bike and deliver newspapers. And what would happen is when I would get paid on a weekend from doing that little job, I would allow myself one chocolate bar while all the other kids were spending half their money buying sweets. I would only buy one chocolate bar and just nibble it for half an hour to make it last. I know this sounds like something from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but this really happened. So yeah, to me it was like a game. It was like the less money I spent, the more I was winning at this game. And I imagine that's probably a similar mindset to what people like Warren Buffett has. He's one of the richest people in the world, but I would imagine he thinks along these same lines. This would explain why he eats at McDonald's every day when he could go to fancy restaurants. It would explain why he drives the same old car that he's had for years, lives in the same very modest looking house that he's lived in for decades, when he could pretty much live in any house in the world if he wanted to. And I remember reading a quote by him that said, the more possessions that you have, the more your possessions own you. And I thought that resonated with me. I thought that was really made sense to me. It's probably the reason that I drive a 20-year-old car that was worth about £300. I bought it nearly 4 years ago for £500, and the way I looked at it, or the way I do look at it, is if you buy a car for that price and you get a year out of it, then it's only cost you £10 a week. I've had it nearly 4 years, so it's cost me less than £3 a week so far. And the good thing about having a cheap car like that is, apart from the fact that you're saving money from not spending unnecessary cash on a brand new car and worrying about if anything happens to it, if my car got a little scrape on it or something, I wouldn't be devastated, because I know that it's temporary, it's not going to last me very long. And having that kind of less stress when it comes to your car and other possessions, it just feels nicer to me. It does, at least. Another benefit of this mindset is you start to derive pleasure from the simpler things in life. Like, if my friends are all going to a fancy restaurant, most of the time I'll probably opt out of going. But if I it doesn't appeal to me to go and spend a load of money in a fancy restaurant. But even if I did, if I wanted to go and join them, I didn't want to miss out on the banter, I would probably just go, I'd have something to eat beforehand, and I would go there and I'd drink tap water, which I know is a bit extreme, but like I said earlier, I'd get a kick out of knowing that I didn't spend a penny, but I didn't miss out on any of the good times. Because to me, I feel like you go to a restaurant, you spend £100 or more, or whatever it would cost. I could go to Poland on a flight for that, return flight for a couple of days, have a real adventure and a real experience, and that to me is worth far more than an hour or two in a fancy restaurant. Obviously there's a lot of peer pressure. Like, if I go to that restaurant with those friends, there's a lot of peer pressure from those guys that are saying like, oh come on, just spend a bit of money this one time. But you know what, I actually get an even more big of a thrill by not doing it, by not conforming, because I feel like it's kind of like playing that game but on a harder level. Maybe I'm just messed up, but it just feels good to say no to something. I feel like I'm building mental toughness, I'm building my willpower muscle, and I'm getting some kind of weird kick out of it at the same time. There is another added benefit to it actually though, because if there was a financial crisis, you know that you're secure, you know that you can get by on very little, you don't need to have a lot of money, and you can be happy without it. Plus I think most people, they already know that the best things in life are for free. You don't need to spend any money to get the real pleasures in life, like spending time with your friends, your family members, going out into nature. That's a huge one, doesn't cost anything. Exercise, you know, there's tons of outdoor gyms, that's always good, and none of those things cost a penny, and they're where the real enjoyment lies. So I just focus on those things instead. Material possessions, things like that, they don't mean anything to me. In fact, I think a lot of the time people just buy those things to try and impress other people, which I don't really care what other people think. When you do buy those things and you throw them away, like, what do you think's happening to those things? It's just cluttering up the planet. The last thing the planet needs is more of people's unwanted junk. I actually take a lot of pride in the fact that I have like an old TV in my bedroom. It's like the big box ones from, like, I don't know, they're about 30, it's about 30 years old, I think. But yeah, I mean, I like the fact that I use things until they need replaced. I don't like to just throw things away for the sake of it, to get the latest gadget, gizmo, whatever. You know, the planet's already cluttered enough. It doesn't need more of my clutter. In fact, I think everything in my house was for free. Almost everything. I think I bought the bed, but apart from that, the furnishings, the rug, the couches, the kitchen appliances, everything was stuff that people were throwing away. And if you look at my Newcastle nightlife videos, the All Saints jacket that I was wearing in that was a jacket that my friend was about to throw out, and I managed to salvage it from him. It's like one of my favourite jackets. It's great, and I'm like, why are you throwing that away? It just makes no sense to me. I mean, you could have at least given it to a charity shop. This jacket that I'm wearing now, it's a Marks and Spencer's leather jacket. I found it in a charity shop for £3. Like, this is kind of like the mentality that I have when it comes to money. And personally, I think the world would be a better place if more people thought along those lines. Obviously, everybody's different, and I totally understand that. I'm not saying everybody should do what I do, but it would be nice to know that this has resonated with some people out there, and maybe makes people question what they're doing. And the last thing I would leave you with as well is, you know, even though I save as much money as possible and I spend as little as possible, I do still work, but I invest the money to create passive income. And the reason that I do this, even though I don't need a lot of money myself, is because I think it's a good idea to create generational wealth. So I've invested my money into properties, and I hope to pass that on later when I die. That is one of the most important reasons to be proactive and still actually, like, you know, go out there and work and contribute to society. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. I hope it did resonate with some of you guys out there, and if it did, then drop a like and comment if you want to give your thoughts on it. Yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.